Hey everyone, it's Marco here, and strategy games are so back in 2024, and you've just found the best place to find a great one that you can actually play right now. But see, here's the thing, I've already covered some bangers about a month ago, so I decided to do some digging and help you find some hidden gems that you may have never even have heard of. The strategy genre is also very broad, so I've included a whole range here, from grand strategy games to turn-based tactics, from base builders to board games and everything in between. Plus, the list got a little too big, so I had to squeeze in some honorable mentions at the end, so be sure not to miss those. If you enjoy challenging gameplay, outwitting your opponents, deploying tactics, or just chilling with laid-back gameplay, sit back, relax, and get ready to find your next addictive strategy game right here. And if you're enjoying these videos, please consider dropping a like, comment, or subscribe to help find the next game to get lost in. But let's get started. So in no particular order, coming in at number 10 we have TerraScape, a relatively new city building game that mixes in puzzle elements with its card-based approach. The game is set in a hex-based world where you need to place down medieval era buildings in the most optimal land possible. This means, for example, placing down buildings that harvest resources like the woodcutters or hunters lodges next to trees or wild animals, or advanced structures next to other buildings. The aim here is to try and score as many points as possible, and eventually it'll give you this zen-like feeling, which is, damn, it's always so satisfying. It reminded me a lot of Dwarf Romantic and Islanders, mainly due to its deck building gameplay mechanics and board game-like experience. The game itself just looks incredible, and it's received great reviews so far. So if you're looking for a relaxed city building experience, definitely check out TerraScape today. Then next up at number 9 we have Slice and Dice, which I haven't been so addicted to since Vampire Survivors. It's a turn-based roguelike dungeon crawler, where you'll be playing against the luck of the dice. And yes, these graphics might not appeal to most, but damn, this gameplay is so addictive, it might as well be ASCII art or something. You start the game with a random group of characters. They're not very good, but then you roll the dice to determine what weapons they'll get. Then you decide who or what to attack, from wolves to ogres, and progressing in the game levels up your characters and gives you better gear. But damn, it is not easy, and when your team members die, they're gone for good. I played this on my phone like a lot, and honestly it's one of my favorite mobile games this year. But what's great, it's on PC too, so if you're someone who enjoys roguelikes, check out Slice and Dice today, you will not be disappointed. And then up next at number 8 is Final Factory, which was actually a recommendation from one of my channel members. The game is a top-down factory builder set in space, with you being an AI robot where you need to defend yourself from hostile enemies. It does have a few hiccups every now and then, but you can move your factories around like as if they were space stations, which is pretty cool, and it'll change the way you think about factory optimization. And yeah, enemies can also keep you on your toes too. In the game, you'll be mining, setting up conveyor belt automation, unlocking better technologies, you know, the usual automation factory building style. So fans of automation games, especially Factorio or Dyson Sphere program, and you just want something new to scratch that itch, maybe check out Final Factory today. It's a little rough, but there's a demo out too. Then up next at number 7 is Esports Godfather, which is a deck building game simulating MOBA esports. So the gameplay is a card game version of the MOBA genre mixed with auto battle mechanics. In the game, you'll be running an esports game competing to be the very best. You'll need to train athletes, buy new ones, train them, trade them, and so forth, just overall team management. Plus there's the hero side of the things, like in the actual MOBA game itself, that has tons of variety and challenges to deal with. It's not without its issues, but the gameplay is still pretty neat. Like, the neat feature here is that there's always new meta, new patches or rules to keep the in-game game interesting, much like a real-world MOBA would be. So if you don't enjoy playing League of Legends or Dota and want to run the show, check out Esports Godfather today. Then coming in at number 6 we have Dune Imperium. But wait, what about Dune Spice Wars? Don't worry, that game came out last year and I'll get to it. See, in Dune Imperium, it's the digital version of the award-winning board game. So you might ask, Marco, why not just play the board game then? Well, not everyone has access to board games or friends to play with, so this one is close enough. It's a strategy board game through and through, with its deck building mechanics and unique gameplay experiences making it very addictive for board game lovers. It also follows the Dune story and the lore very well. You know, the spice must flow. So if you ever wanted to dabble in Dune, check out Dune Imperium today. But also check out Dune Spice Wars. It's just as cool, but it's more of a 4K real-time strategy game, and it came out last year. Up next at number 5 and halfway through, we have another game I destroyed on my phone, Kingdom Rush, with the new installment Kingdom Rush 5 Alliance. Honestly, name a better tower defense game. I'll wait. From the original, these games just keep getting better and better, and Ironhide Game Studio, the devs, have now just got a soft spot in my heart. This tower defense game just oozes character and charm, from the awesome array of structures to buildings to enemies to fight and various Easter eggs hidden throughout. There's just not a single time I felt bored playing their games. This one dropped this week and it's already driving people crazy. This time around, you'll be able to take out 2 heroes onto the battlefield, not just one, to help you out, hence the name. You also get to combine elite towers, which is another really cool feature. So if you're a fan of tower defense games, give Kingdom Rush 5 Alliance a try today, you'll not be disappointed. Then coming in at number 4, we have the Universim, which is finally out of early access and people seem to be really enjoying it. And it's easy to see why. This god game colony sim has you managing your own planets as you guide your civilization through the ages. Plus, with you being a god, you're able to wield your godly powers on your little peeps over here, which you can use to either guide, protect, or destroy. The gameplay is quite hands-off too, as your citizens will handle that by placing their own buildings and whatnot, which is good and bad, so you need to help them out of it. Even though the tutorial and progression can be a bit unclear at times, its charming art style and sandbox-like gameplay means fans of god games like Black and White could really enjoy it. So check out the Universim if that sounds good to you. Then coming in at number 3, we have Solium Infernum, which I don't think many people might know. It's a refreshed and reimagined update to a 2009 4X cult classic. Think like Civilization but set in hell. There's a strong emphasis on politics and betrayal in this game. You'll get to play as one of the 8 archfiends competing to take the throne of hell, all while engaging in strategic gameplay involving territory expansion, resource management, diplomacy, and combat. The great reviews of it on Steam are probably because it offers really unique gameplay mechanics and a ton of possible strategies and tactics for winning, making it very replayable and versatile in its gameplay. Plus, it's also got online PvP if that's your thing. So seriously, if you like deep 4X strategy games like Civilization, check out Solium Infernum today, plus they even have a demo to try out. Then up next at number 2, we have Songs of Conquest, which is a beautiful turn-based 4X game set in this fantasy land. Inspired by games from the 90s, here you'll need to lead powerful magicians called wielders and venture to lands unknown. Through your journey, you'll be exploring a wide variety of maps with diverse enemies and loot to boot. To do this, you'll need to manage resources, research new advancements, and expand your kingdom. The game also gives you handcrafted maps, but you can opt for procedurally generated ones or even go wild in the in-game map editor. The graphics, charming, the soundtrack, amazing, plus there's a whole bunch of multiplayer freedom to explore, including split-screen co-op or PvP. So if you're a fan of Heroes of Might and Magic, or turn-based games in general, I'd highly recommend checking out Songs of Conquest today. And then lastly, at number 1, I'm throwing in one that is maybe not so hidden, but it's a gem nonetheless, Balatro. I don't know, maybe you're the 1% of viewers who haven't heard of it, maybe you're under a rock, whatever. But the point is, Balatro came in, proposed as a poker roguelike, and people's jaws were just dropping. I mean, card games are pretty cool. I mean, I wasn't the biggest poker fan in real life, but what this dev managed to pull off was something extraordinary. Balatro is like regular poker, but it's not. You have the same hands like in poker, But then things start getting a bit weird with all these jokers just coming your way. Every round you'll need to win the small blind, the big blind, and then eventually the boss blind at the end by beating various required scores. And to do that, you'll need to use these wild jokers and these other shady cards that can break the whole game. It's so addictive, it's so much fun. Honestly, if you're looking for an out there strategy game, Balatro might be the one, and it's still possibly one of the games of the year. But now it was very hard to narrow this list down to only 10, so I've added in some notable mentions here that I felt deserved a shout out. And also, if you've made it this far, perhaps consider leaving a like or even subscribe so that you don't miss out on more enjoyable games. If you're looking for something lighthearted, Disney-like fantasy strategy, then maybe check out Fabledom here. It's a city building colony sim, but with some added magic and fairy tales. It's very laid back, where you'll need to grow your settlement, interact with various neighbors, and defend your kingdom from magical creatures. So check out Fabledom if you're looking for a cozy, casual colony builder. And then next up is Keeper RL, which is an ambitious dungeon simulator with roguelike and RPG elements. You're going to be taking the role of an evil wizard to study the methods of black magic. You're going to equip your minions and explore the world, murder innocent villagers and burn their homes, build your dungeon, lay traps, and prepare for an assault of angry heroes. It's very similar to games like Dwarf Fortress and Dungeon Keeper, but with some roguelike elements thrown in. So if that sounds cool, maybe check out Keeper RL today. And then, oh snap, I bet you didn't see this one coming. It's New Cycle, which I didn't really know about. New Cycle is a city building game with the focus on survival. After an apocalyptic series of solar flares, human society has been thrown into disarray. Establish a settlement and develop it all the way from humble beginnings to an industrial metropolis. I'd say it's a mixture of Frostpunk and Banished, but slightly more laid back. So if that floats your boat, then maybe check out New Cycle today. And then lastly, if tower defense games are your jam, check out Artisan TD, which also came out recently along with some very positive reviews. In Artisan TD, you'll set out to conquer the archipelago of chaos, build tower mazes to free the souls of magical warriors corrupted by the Titans. So if you've loved the original Warcraft 3 tower defense maps, or just tower defense games in general, maybe peruse Artisan TD, who knows, you might enjoy it. Now before you hit that dislike button because I missed out some other huge strategy game that came out this year, just note that I included those in my other videos and I didn't want them to overlap too much, you know, people might get bored. But I have linked them in the description, or you can just wait in this video for the links at the end, so you don't want to miss those out either. So now tell me, have you played any of these games, or did you find one that really interested you? Let me know in the comment section below, as it's the closest thing I'll get to socializing all week. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and maybe even subscribe so that you don't miss out on new videos like this. But other than that, it's Marco here from Easily Distracted Games, and most of all, don't stop gaming.